So the police comes up to the car, and this is what I mean. He's a black policeman, and this is like of further indication of black people in Atlanta is just the networking, and everyone wants to help everybody. So the police comes over. He's like, "Hey, I've got a complaint about you. So what's going on here, man? What are you doing here?" I tell him, "Hey, I just moved here. I come to the library every day, apply for jobs. Now I go to Atlanta and network."
So you were going to the library to apply for jobs?
Yeah, I was going to the
Oh, you
library.
didn't have
to apply
like a
for jobs.
computer at the house that you could.
No computer. No.
Oh, okay.
computer
I
at
was
the
a
house.
little puzzled by the library.
No computer at the house, but not only that, I don't know. I just feel like going to the library to do stuff. And that's another thing too. I don't want to be in the house, even if I am applying for jobs. It's just
Right.
I think it's a bad look to
Really?
be just. I think so. To be in the house, you don't have a job. Everybody's going to work. You know what I mean? And you're just sitting up in the house under the AC, eating all the food, and not doing
The pantry
anything.
is undefended.
Let's get to this part 2 of the Atlanta series of stories here. All righty. You ready?
Yeah, I've been ready. Came out the coochie ready.
Came out the coochie ready. All right. So, yes. If you missed last week, I'm starting this series of when I was in Atlanta. Okay, and so it's going to be about 3 or 4 parts here. Now, last week I told the story about when I visited Atlanta for the first time. Right, my cousin got me up there just for a little while here, and for a weekend. And I told that story. You can go back on YouTube or social media, catch that. Okay. Now, I come back on this long 9-hour mega bus ride, and I'm back in Orlando. I'm back in my version of hell. Okay.
Did you make any friends in the megabus?
No, I didn't make any friends.
Did you just kind of go like headphones on and keep to yourself? Or?
Yeah, it's hard to even go to sleep on that thing, man. You gotta stay eyes
wouldn't
open.
at all, yeah.
You gotta stay eyes open,
Yeah.
man. All right, so the interesting thing is I go about a month or so to back to regular scheduled programming. Okay, and over that course of time, I didn't know, but my cousin had been talking with his wife about possibly moving me in. Totally different conversations. I'm not privy to that. I'm back in my regular scheduled program. So after a month or so, when I'm back from my visit, my cousin gives me a call. Says, "Hey, man, so what do you think? You had fun? What's going on?" And and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Man, you don't even know." And I'm laughing in my head because he doesn't know about the car.
Yeah.
About me being the girl in the car. Like, man, you don't even know, man. I really enjoyed myself in the lab.
I went to Pound Town in your wife's back seat.
And so he's like, "Man, you just need to come up here." He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Of course, I'm dying here. And I'm dying a slow death." He's like, "Well, you just need to move up here, man. Make it happen, do this." I say, "Man, yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I do." Now, last week, I told a small fib, and I said the only things I had going for me was my mom still here, and then also I was in my physical, sexual peak of pride. Well, another thing I had going, okay, was I did have this older girl I was talking to, and she was a freak of nature, okay, and I don't mean Wemby or LeBron. I'm talking about she was something special, okay, and she would do all of these different things. I told this story about the grapefruit. That was this particular woman here, and she would do all of this. I'm talking about do the grapefruit challenge on me, whipped cream, candy, anytime, anywhere, any day. Give me a head while I'm playing the video game, watching TV, like all of this I had, and I didn't really appreciate it at that time. Okay.
Did she eat an M&M out of your booty hole?
And I didn't appreciate it at that time.
We'll take that as a yes. I didn't hear a denial.
And I do appreciate it. No, I haven't had that since. Okay. And so what happens is I make the decision. This whole story is about the decision and the mistakes I made along the way. So I make the decision to go. We're on the radio at this time doing the show.
That's right.
Okay, so we're on the radio doing On the Bench podcast, or at the time On the Bench radio show. And so I had to make the decision. I let you know, like, hey, man, I think I'm finna I think I'm about to go to Atlanta, move to Atlanta for real. Okay. And then instead of telling the girl that I'm going to move to Atlanta, what I do is I go over to her house, and in my mind, what I do is I have a last farewell session, and I and she don't know what's
In
going
your
on.
mind.
She don't know what's going on, but I want to do everything right now, and I want to pull out all the stops here.
Damn, Papa, you seem particularly inspired tonight.
And so then I leave. All of this happens within like 3 days. I let you know, and then do, and then another. And then I leave her house. Right, I leave her house, go back home. I pack.
Did you meet your own expectations that night?
I did. I exceeded them.
Oh, there you go.
I pack. I do all of that stuff.
Did you like when you left her house? Like, oh, see you tomorrow? Like, what?
Yeah, I call you when I get home. Just the
Maybe-
regular.
Maybe our paths will cross again.
No, just a regular meeting there as far as what she knows.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing is that was Thursday. That Friday, I get to work. Now, I should have been extra and just really laid it all out with my manager and the director and everything. I should have been more. I should have had a black man exit.
Okay.
But I took the quiet way out. I didn't leave a notice or anything, and so I let them know I was leaving that day.
You left a note?
No, I said I left. I didn't leave a notice. is
Oh,
what I'm
okay,
saying.
okay.
But I told them, hey, this is my last day here. Whatever. Because I detailed that last week while I was upset at
Yeah.
my job or whatever. All right, I leave that same night. Okay, I had already taken care of the family part, told them everything. When I get to Atlanta, I called a girl and I said, hey, I'm in Atlanta. I'm not coming back.
That was it? That's like a direct quote?
I'm in Atlanta.
Wow.
I'm not coming back. That's a mistake. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done it that way. And and when I told the stories about being stalked and all this and that, I didn't add that in. I'm sure that played a part in her mind, and we'll get to that a little later. Okay.
Would it be fair to say though that like up until that moment she thought she was in a relationship?
I think so. Not in a relationship, but she thought it was going somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, she thought it was going somewhere. I had already met her kids. I had met her mom.
Oh boy.
I mean, of course, not at my request, but yeah, I done that already, and played video games with her son.
Bubba shows up bug naked with a 4-pack of wine coolers and mom's on the couch. Bubba, it's my mother.
So yeah, she thinks everything is going awesome. Okay, and she's probably already building marriages and fucking third child, naming Bubba Jr. and all of that in her head. So she's pissed, of course, right? And I knew that. That's why I delayed it. I delayed it to the absolute last minute, right?
So when you say your quote, like, was there like immediate indignation, or was there like a moment of just silence?
Yeah, moment of silence. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then, of course, I get cursed out, and then there's just calls and text messages that entire day. Calls and text messages. And the whole time, I'm trying to get settled in here. I fucked that up. Okay. All right. So now, I'm moving here. I got my old Jeep here, and I'm there. I'm broke and I'm poor. Okay. So I have a couple dollars in my pocket when I get there on a long ride. What's also interesting is while I was driving there was actually I didn't know because I wasn't watching the news. There was a fucking hurricane.
I remember that. Like people were trying to leave.
Yeah, people were trying to
I
leave
remember. I was like,
Orlando and Florida.
I think you called me, and I was like, God, Bubba's gonna get fucked here.
I really did, man. So whatever, 6-7 hour drive turned into like a 12 hour drive. You know what I mean? It was just a billion cars on the road. I picked the wrong weekend to move.
Yeah, with that, you could have played everything so much different.
Yeah, yeah.
You could have just told her, like, oh, I'm feeling really nervous about the hurricane. I'm evacuating to Atlanta. And then call back a few days later. My home was destroyed. I'm going to have to stay here for a little while. Feel free to visit. And then a week or two later, oh, I've got a job I can't pass up. My career's going in the right direction.
It's going in the right. Yeah, couldn't have been mad at me at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had so many options.
So many.
Well, with the, hey, I'm in Atlanta and I'm not coming back.
So, right. So I'm there.
Said, give your mother my regards. Salt, please.
She could drink the last wine cooler I left in the refrigerator. So I'm there in Atlanta now, okay, with my cousin, his family. All right. And, what's funny about on the first day when I get there is my cousin, the conversation he had with me. It's one that is important to have, and it's funny, but, I'm not sure you need to have it with your friends and family, and that's my problem because I don't. So people take advantage of you is what I'm trying to say. So he sits me down. He says, "Listen, men only, fall out mostly over two reasons, especially family and friends, right? One is money, two is coochie." This is exact words.
Yeah.
He says, "The money part, don't worry, I got you. You know what I mean? I got you. You're my responsibility. I got you here. As long as you're trying to get a job doing this and that, you covered. Don't worry about it." He says, "The coochie, you can't fuck with my wife." Whatever she say goes, and funny shit, of course, or it's gonna be a big problem.
That's great.
And and so we had that. That was it. And as far as that conversation goes, and then I'm there. I'm getting.
So did he really think you might take a shot at the wife?
No, but it is a conversation you have to have because people, people are just weird, man. Even like I said, he's my cousin. His dad and my dad are brothers. You know what I mean? But it's like, we haven't hung out together since we were kids. He's been in Atlanta for whatever, 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm there, and then I really began. What I would do is every day I would dress up, same suit, and my plan would be to go to the library, and then from the library I would go downtown Atlanta, the network. Every single day, that's what I would do. Now, one day I was at the library, and somebody called the police on me. Okay.
Was you in the library?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, because in the morning I would get up very early, so I would go to the library, sit in the parking lot, and wait for the library to open.
Okay.
Okay. So somebody called the police on me because it's like whatever, some black guy is in the parking lot
in a suit,
and it's a weird activity.
We think he has some bad intentions for the library. He might ban a few books.
So the police comes up to the car, and this is what I mean. He's a black policeman, and this is like further further indication of black people in Atlanta is just the networking, and everyone wants to help everybody. So the police comes over. He's like, "Hey, I've got a complaint about you. So what's going on here, man? What are you doing here?" I tell him, "Hey, I just moved here. I come to the library every day, apply for jobs. Now I go to Atlanta and network."
So you were going to the library to apply for jobs?
Yeah, I was going to the
Oh,
library.
you didn't
to
have
apply
like a
for jobs.
computer at the house that you could.
No computer. No.
Oh,
no
okay.
computer
I
at
was
the
a little puzzled by the library.
No computer at the house, but not only that, I don't know. I just feel like going to the library to do stuff. And that's another thing too. I don't want to be in the house, even if I am applying for jobs. It's just
Right.
I think it's a bad look to
Really?
be just. I think so. To be in the house, you don't have a job. Everybody's going to work. You know what I mean? And you're just sitting up in the house under the AC, eating all the food, and not doing
The pantry
anything.
is undefended. There will be no snacks left by the time these people
Yeah.
return.
So really, it might have been a laptop. I'm sure there was a laptop in the house, but that my mind, I'm trying to get out
Really?
and
Okay.
be under the impression that I'm doing stuff, which I actually am. But I won't.
I would be a little unsettled by an overdressed guy at the public library.
And apparently they were.
During business hours.
Apparently they were.
And why would you go well before the library opened? Like, what was the thinking there?
Oh, because the people are leaving the house.
You have to leave at the same time.
Yeah, man.
What
I mean, listen, I don't know these people for real. Like I know my cousin, but you know what I mean. He got his wife, got his wife's
you
mom.
can wait right till like they all leave, then you can take your morning dump and then maybe trickle out right before the library opens.
So the police comes to the car. All right, and like I say, I'm explaining to him what my routine is, and his first thought is like to help me. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, so what are you into? What industry are you into?" And I tell him, "Well, really, I have my degree in human resources, so I'm looking for recruiting jobs, but also, I have a dream of like, writing and things of that nature." He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "My wife is into this." He calls his wife on the phone. He's like, "Hey man, I got this." He said, "Hey baby, I got this young guy here. He's into this. He's into that. You think he can help?" And he has on speaker, and she's like, "No, I don't think so. But I think so and so can help. Give him this number." So he hangs up with his wife, calls this other guy's number. He's like, "Yeah, give him my number." Da, da, da. So then I get the number for the guy who's supposed to have this connection. Didn't pan out, but still, it's just the thought of this police.
Right.
Doing all of this, and he's like, "Okay, hey man, don't worry about the call. I'll let him know, whatever. Just best of luck to you." Okay, and that right there is like that situation, that little whatever. Was my Atlanta experience. Like it seems like everybody wants to help versus Orlando and anywhere else I've been where that's just not the case. You
Right.
don't even speak to a stranger
Yeah.
here if you don't know them.
And for as much as we criticize the police and bash them, shout out to that officer.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
that's what we're like. When we say we want better, that's that's protecting and serving the community.
Yeah.
Like he assessed the situation and turned something into a potential positive instead of an escalation of vulgarities and profanities and violence. I mean, well done, well played.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, from there, I go about 3 months or so with no job, no money, and of nothing. And my cousin, one thing about my cousin, he never put pressure on me, which was so like crazy to me in my mind. And I'm like every day I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. Like I need to be doing something. And he allowed me to go, like I'm going after the top whatever, I'm going after my profession, the HR jobs and things of that nature first. And then in my mind I'm like, okay, I'm going to go a period of time of that, and then I'm going to take a shit job afterwards, and then go from there.
Right.
Okay. Now, over the course of my going after the library, I would go to Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, and I would go and network in the same suit every day. And so this particular time, there was this older Hispanic guy just saw me walking, and he said, "Hey, what are you into? What do you do?" And I'm telling him, "Hey, I'm looking for human resource jobs, this is that." And he's actually a part of the ownership of Pollo Tropical that was bringing all of those units to Atlanta. They were going to try to test the market.
They didn't really have.
They didn't have
Atlanta at all.
At all.
Okay.
They were testing the market, and they were going to put up a few stores in Atlanta. So he was like, "Oh man, this is perfect. You could come over here with us and help us with onboarding people, recruiting, and getting people in." And things of that nature, and we'll just give you the title of assistant manager of a store or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I go through the interview process like right there right there with him, and just because he saw me in the suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dressing for success.
Yeah. Now in my mind, I'm like, "Oh man, this is great. This is awesome." I go home, everybody's excited, everybody's happy for me. And it turned out to be the exact opposite type of situation. Really? Not exact opposite, but I was like in the fucking trenches working. I wasn't doing any fucking recruiting or onboarding. I was in the deep freezer. I'm taking out trash. Cleaning fucking toilets. I'm doing everything. But whatever. I'm sticking it out. I am on the assistant manager, little pay or whatever, which is not a ton, but it's okay. And but I come across some of the worst managers I've just ever been around, and that's what's really getting to me, right?
Yeah.
And so I had this one Hispanic lady who was my manager, and she was the fucking worst, man. Like everything you would do, she wanted it a different way or wanted it better. She only had complaints. She didn't.
Right.
Anytime you did something good or something, you stayed, whatever. She never had anything positive to say. So we always butted heads. Always butted heads.
Yeah.
Now, but the good thing about having this little gig now, it's got a little money in my pockets. Now I can get back to seeing some Atlanta women. Okay.
Hey.
All right, I feel good about that. So the girl that I had the experience with when I visited, this is another mistake I made. I did not reach out to her anytime from that period, from when I had the experience up until I had moved there and got this job. So
Yeah.
we're talking over the span of now like 6 months or whatever, from the time it took me to move to Atlanta and the time for me to find a job. Because in my mind, I'm broke, I'm poor, and I was telling her like, yeah, I got this degree, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do this and that. And I wasn't doing any of this and that. And so I didn't reach out to her at all. But the day I got that job, I texted her, called, and she was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, shit." Yeah. She hit me with the "Who is this?"
Who is this?
So that didn't pan out.
Kind of took the wind out of your sails right away.
Right away, man.